basically banking and insurance related products. 8% are actually buying online. But what's interesting is if you look at this across all categories, north of 30% of 100 million consumers are doing research for products online. And depending on the industry, at least 5 to 10% are already transacting online, and that number is growing exponentially, right? So if there's one, thing I want you guys to remember, especially especially for the digital agencies in the room, as you talk to your clients, this is where it becomes really interesting, right? What is a brand's consumer, what are they doing online? Are they looking for because what we find, in fact, I was at a board meeting with one of the largest banks in India on Saturday. The first slide I shared with them was people looking for their brand and ending up with another brand. You don't want to see this happen. I'm going online, I'm looking for your brand. I want to find your brand. Because based on this, if I don't find your brand, I'm going to another brand. So this is pretty important. Research online, purchase offline. I'm going to just take two industries. One's very evolved like travel, and the other one is sort of rapidly emerging like telecom. And we can spend as much time on any of these industries. But if you look at travel, what's very interesting is all of us know the success stories behind the Make My Trips, the Clear Trips, the Yatras, basically the OTAs, right? The online travel agents. Combined gross revenues of over $2 billion and so on. What's very interesting is even though we've made a lot of progress in air travel, only 30% of air travel is still booked online, which means there's 70% of that industry that is still up for grabs. But if you look at this slide, which has a lot of data points on it, what's interesting is the pie chart and what's green on the pie chart. I don't know whether those of you in the back probably can't see it. This actually looks at all the queries that we get for travel and breaks it up by what are people looking for. 54% of the queries of people doing research for travel needs that they have are actually hotels and accommodation, right? That's a mind-boggling number. So, and hotels, for various sets of reasons, the lack of big brands that are national, the fact that they're looking for price points between 2,000 and 3,000 rupees, and so on and so forth. Huge amount of consumers doing research online, massive supply issue. So, if you're in the budget hotel business, this is in the branded budget hotel business, it's a super exciting time, right? And I know none of you want to do this, but if you're looking for something new to do, go start a branded budget hotel. Because I can tell, no, seriously, you will build a 200 chain hotel just based on online traffic. There aren't enough of them. There are like 4 or 5 budget brands in India, right? And then obviously if you're an OTA, which has built, a company like Make My Trip or Clear Trip, etc. This provides a massive, massive growth opportunity. So I picked this category because it is a very evolved online category in India. But really, when you look at this set of data, we're just getting started even in travel. The other interesting thing is technology, and I picked this because this is, again, right, technology products. This doesn't include the service providers and the carriers. The internet today already is what we're calling the zero moment of truth. For consumers who want to buy phones, cameras, etc. 2 numbers that are important. There's one, I guess you'll see it on the left-hand side, the 66% number. That is, based on extensive research that we've done, the internet is the first place I usually go when I want to research a mobile phone to buy. Okay? 66% of the people that have bought a mobile phone, which actually is a large number in India today for those of you who know the space, massive number, who are online. Obviously, this is looking at the 100 million online users. 66% of them start their research of which mobile phone to buy online. This is pretty important, right? Because if you're a mobile phone brand, or you want to get into the mobile phone business, you got to be there, right? So that's pretty. And then if you look at the other one, which is, let's say you've done a lot of research, maybe today you're doing research online, but you're buying offline, so you've gone to some stores, you looked at your products. What's also interesting, if you look at a category like camera, 47% of people have changed their mind of what brand to buy after doing research online. So not only is it the first place where people go to do research, but it's also a medium where people are doing so much research and spending so much time that they're changing their mind. So throughout the purchase cycle, all the way from building awareness to driving engagement to the point of purchase, you got to be there, right? So those are like two interesting examples, and we've got obviously lots of data on just about every industry you can imagine. A third one, which is really an industry that is still very, very early on the adoption of e-commerce, on the adoption of online marketing, is actually banking. What this slide shows you is the number, what's happening to queries, right, which is basically people looking for stuff. For people looking for internet banking in India, and looks at the last 18 months, a 200-fold increase in the number of queries tied to internet banking. Guys, this is unbelievable. So this is unbelievable, right? So if you're a bank, or you're an insurance company, or you're a pension fund, or whatever part of financial services you're, and by the way, these set of stats are identical across financial services categories. So as a brand, you've got to be there. Because whether you like it or not, millions and millions of consumers are researching your brand. They're trying to engage with your brand. So, right, so that's basically looking at the third industry. Now let me move on to saying, so this is basically consumers doing research online, right? But what's also interesting is, what we're seeing is a trend, I think most of you in the digital agency business know this, is what happens offline gets researched online. KP kind of talked about this when he talked about the automotive example, right? And this is looking at one brand campaign, mystery shampoo campaign. What happens after the offline campaign was launched is we see, actually in some cases we see it even before, a massive spike in internet activity tied to that particular launch. And it actually happens, some cases it happens before and then sustained, some cases it happens after, right? So it's very important to think about not just what consumers are doing online, but as you think about campaigns offline, to actually think about how do you leverage that online as well. Because whether you like it or not, consumers are looking for things tied to that campaign, your products and your services offline as well. Now let me move to video. Video is huge, right? This looks at how huge it is globally. I mean, it's a massive phenomenon, and I know you've heard from several speakers today about the video phenomenon, the online video, I should say, the online video phenomenon. This is just an interesting thing that, gives you a sense of where video has come to today, right? If you just look at YouTube, which is one video network, there are many video networks in the world. In the last 2 months, there's been more content uploaded on YouTube worldwide than all of the content produced by the 4 largest US broadcast networks, ABC, NBC, and Fox, since 1948. Okay? This is pretty important. All the content produced since 1948, 72 years, by the 4 largest broadcast networks in the world. There's been more content produced and uploaded on one video network, only one, there are many, called YouTube, right? So if there's anything at all that shows the power of video and online video, I think this is sort of an interesting statistic to look at. Some interesting statistics on India. India, 1.7 billion video views in India every month, 9.1 billion minutes, and 5th largest nation in terms of online video reach. 5th largest nation, 3rd largest internet user market in the world, 5th largest online video reach. And YouTube, by itself, just one property, has crossed 20 million unique users in India today. Actually, that was my number from like 2 months ago, so it's obviously much larger today, right? Now, what's interesting about online video is online video gives brands and marketers, number one, to engage with their consumers in a way they understand. So as all of you know, the greatest marketeers of India love TV. Why do they love TV? Because it's rich, it's visual, it's audio, it's all of these things, right? So clearly, online video provides a platform to have that kind of TV-like media. But it also actually gives you an opportunity to do a lot more than that. right? It's interactive, it's engaging. You can commerce, you can do transactions. And I'm going to share with you some examples of what you can do with online video. You can add rich media. You can animate it, right? There's so many things you can do with it. And what we're seeing in India, especially over the last 6-12 months, is some of the brands beginning to embrace and adopt online video in very interesting ways. So Dabang, I think some of you have probably now heard of Dabang. Dabang was the first sponsored full-length movie on the internet. On YouTube, sponsored by Hindustan Unilever, 1 million views in 1 week. So I know I heard one of the discussions before this which talked about 5,000 users and 10,000 users. I agree, if you can't get a large number of users at scale, first build awareness, then get them to engage, then it gets to be a little difficult. But that's the kind of reach that we're talking about with online video today. And then the other example that I want to share with you is actually Airtel from the IPL Champions League. So they created this very interesting online contest. They created an Airtel YouTube brand channel, online video channel for Airtel. And they created a contest where users could go take videos of their favorite IPL team and then host them online, right? In the Airtel brand channel. So this is Airtel broadcast channel. And I wanted to share with you just a minute or two of a clip that actually talks about Real Fans, which is the campaign that Airtel launched with YouTube. 2,400 videos uploaded, 500,000 page views. Simple idea, it's free. Online video, it's engaging, right? And it's a very interesting way in which to use the video channel, drive engagement, and drive scale. So that's one example. Another example I want to share with you is how you can not only engage, but drive sharing and eventually transaction. So this is actually a masthead ad that was taken up by Universal when they launched Robinhood. So let's play this time with a little bit of sound.